Okay, I think we can maybe start. All right, so let me share my screen. Oh, this one. Okay. Can you see my screen? Maggie,
Looks good, Ryan. Looks good.
Okay. Good. All right. So welcome to the Equity Without Zoning workshop. So we will discuss big topic today. How can we make our world better? The hosts are CityScienceLab Shanghai and also City Science in MIT Media Lab. So we have a rather big team, as you can see, and I would like to invite the Deputy Director of the City Science Lab, Shanghai, Liang, to give a brief introduction of City Science Lab Shanghai and also the team. Thanks.
Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you, Ren. Hi, my name is Liu Yang. You can call me Leon. And I'm a research scientist and deputy manager from City Science Shanghai Lab. Can I play the video, Ren? As you can see, City Science Shanghai Lab is a collaboration between Tongji University, China, and the City Science Group. And Shanghai Lab is directed by Professor Luo Yongqi, Dean of the College of Design and Innovation at Tongji University. Now we are developing a version of the Cityscope platform for urban analysis, efficient resource utilization, and spatial programming. As you know, Cityscope platform is a tangible augmented reality platform used to visualize complex urban relationship and simulate the impact of multiple urban interventions and support decision-making in a dynamic, iterative, and evidence-based process. So as you can see in the video, is the first Cityscope platform that we built in like 2 or 3 years ago. And we use this in our teaching process and also in a different project. So this wonderful people are team members, and the time and effort that they have put in this project are just amazing. Without each of them, this workshop might not be possible. And I would like to a special thank to Kent, Lo, John, Louis, Maria, Cara, Maggie for their dedication and support. And some of my teammates will be this workshop's facilitators in terms of Ren, Chan, Chance, Suna, John, and me, and we'll see you in break rooms. Next. According to agenda, this workshop has 3 parts, which will take us 1.5 hours, more or less. The first part is a workshop introduction presentation hosted by Ryan and me, and will take 20 minutes. In main sessions, we will split the participants into groups of 5 to use this online interactive tools and explore simulation scenarios. And finally, we will report back to main session, each group is asked to prepare 2 slide presentations, which will be delivered by an appointed presenter. Okay, I will give my mic back to Ryan to do the introduction of our research project. Thank you very much, and see you in break room.
Thank you, Leon. I would like to just give a brief introduction of the background and the big idea behind. It's the dynamic incentive policy is a topic that we have discussed for quite some years in CityScienceLab at MIT, and Ken and other researchers have input a lot of thoughts in it. So I will give a rough background. So today we're going to explore the dynamic incentive policy for pro-social cities, which means like to improve social and environmental performance of the cities and promote pro-social behaviors, and with the tool facilitation of the agent-based simulation to make our decision-making more informed. So look at the greatest challenge. So we have nowadays we have social, like equity is a big problem, and environmental climate change is one of the greatest challenges as well. So since a long time ago, we City Science Network start to develop different interventions of and transformations to try to improve the performance of the city. So in this summit, the power of results definitely is try to use a lot of the new technologies to improve city performance. For example, we take Kendall Square, where MIT is in Cambridge, Massachusetts, United States. It's about 14 acres of area that we have a lot of innovation companies and labs here. So if we plot performance, we can see there's a good performance in employment, and also very good maybe cultural side, but not like Harvard. We might have some low performance in like housing and mobility energies, because we actually have data shows that a lot of people doesn't live nearby where they work. So a lot of CO2 generation for mobility and for housing as well. So how can we improve the social performances such as innovation, wellness, security, but at the meantime improve the environmental performance, which is reduce the CO2 and energy consumption? We have an aspiration of have a 10-fold increase in 2020s in both social and environmental performance. That's our goal, but how to achieve it, right? So we have developed many interesting technology like this personal electric vehicle, which actually is a hybrid between the shared bicycle and Uber. So the bike will, when you have an app, it will come to you and ride you to places with a very little, because it's lightweight and electrical. So it's with this kind of mobility without cars within the city, we can improve the some of the energy performance. We can also have this we call city home, that we have robotic furnitures that, sorry, the animation seems not moving, but the bed here can raise into the ceiling so that it can transform the living room into bedroom or vice versa. So this increase the efficiency of using the precious urban spaces, which also makes when we have a more efficiency means we can have more people living in the city to reduce the commuting distance. So assumingly this can improve a bit on the residential rate of the area and also the energy performance as well. And because it's a very small house and very multifunctional, so it can improve the energy performance of the building as well. You don't need to cooling many of the area of the buildings. But how can we achieve the rest? There's still a big gap towards our aspiration tenfold, right? So the idea is the technology solution is great, but it has its limitations. And we believe that the most influential power lies in how humankind organizes ourselves, our activities. A smart way to smart, intelligent public policies can improve a lot. For example, so let's do a thought experiment. So commuting to MIT, so we have the data from MIT, knowing for all the students and faculties and employees, staffs of MIT, who has been, where do they live and what's the commuting rate, commuting method they use. And on average, there will be 3 tons of the CO2 per person every year for commuting. But what if we all replace the vehicles to electric vehicle? So we also using assumptions and data, we can know that even everyone use the electric vehicle. On average, if the mobility pattern remains the same, we still need 2.19 tons of CO2 per person per year. But if everyone lives in Kendall Square, and which eliminates the commuting almost entirely, because when you live nearby, you just need to walk, right? So there will be a 6-fold of the CO2 reduction. That is by far the most important. So where do you live actually is more important than what vehicle you use. So as that example, but you can see that we need to promote the change of the people's behavior. But how can we promote that? How can we persuade people to move into where nearby to where they live, and to have this very walkable cities? So let's put that aside. I have actually another interesting list. So we listed the greatest challenge of the social and environmental, and we can see inequality, housing affordability. Of course, it's not a complete list, but you name it. And if you look at the externalities of the capital market, which means that capital market doesn't care about, but probably will use the resources that doesn't cost them to improve their profit. You see them as well in social aspect. So a lot of market-driven forces will make the inequality even more, and environmental for sure as well. So is that a coincidence? I don't know, but our suggestion is having this insight. Maybe how should we promote the change? I think we can harness. We all believe that harness the power of the market force will be very important, and use it to work towards improving the urban performance beyond the only economy, which market force normally only look at. So beyond economies to social and environmental performances. So how can we do that? Actually, it's not a new thing that the city, the like urban planning department always try to do that since a long time. That is the incentive policies. For example, in 70s, I think, New York City like urban planning department has a incentive policy that if the developer will develop more green spaces or public spaces, they will have more air rights to build the profitable functions. And as a result, of course, they do that, right? If they can make more money. So as a result, there are actually too much green space or public space than necessary. So, but they don't stop doing that, right? Because I want to have more profit. So how can we avoid these loopholes? The key is to be dynamic, we believe. So constantly check the gap between the supply and the demand. Demand, of course, means the demand of everyone, but not only the demand of the developers or other market driven entities. So if we can dynamically and constantly check that gap and also adjust the incentive policies towards that to make sure the most urgent aspects are addressed, and also to use data and optimizations to most efficiently improve the social and environmental performance with minimum budget. Yeah, it's a little bit compact here, but later we will give you a lot of examples and try-ons on the tool to see if it really does. Example of the dynamic incentive policy, which is the algorithmic zoning. We can use dynamic incentives to incentivize the amenities that is not normally supported by the market. For example, I have two daughters, and if you live in Kendall with kids, you know that it is so hard to get daycares. But daycare doesn't make much money, so they don't build it, right? So, so what we want to do is to collect the demands, like my demands of daycare, and then incentivize the building of the daycare for developers, maybe give them more air rights or other tax reduction or so on and so forth, so that we can make sure that the demand is meted by the market force as well. So until now, you can see that the consensus and participation is very important. We can always use Cityscope, great tools like Cityscope to have a diverse and different background people together because it's so easy to use. And our tool hopefully can facilitate that as well. The big idea, takeaway is dynamic incentive policy is the key to achieve civic homeostasis, because it's a check and balance and evolving equilibrium, like how nature ecosystems achieve their homeostasis as well. Yeah, next I will give the mic to Tan to share about a little bit about the back logic of our agent-based simulation.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan. And hi, guys. I'll briefly talk about agent-based simulation, or ABM, agent-based model, in this workshop. And please next. So basically, we'll have a virtual world in the agent-based simulation and different types of autonomous agents. And they will have the actions and interactions. And we're going to simulate these actions to assess their effects on the whole system. So next. Right, next, please. Yeah, this is the agent-based simulation tool, the previous slide. And okay, yeah, this is the agent-based simulation tool you will play in the following time. And you can see the visualization of the world and agents in the center. And on the right, you can see some plots of indices to assess the performance of the system. And next. And next, I will introduce the virtual world in the simulation. So here's our focusing area, the Kendall Square, and we have the detailed building map. But for simplicity, next please, we're not going to use these buildings, but we're going to use grids instead. And the grid information will come from the building information. For example, if the grid is residential or office and etc. But this is just the focusing area, and the whole world is much larger in this picture. You can see, actually, the whole world is actually a 5-kilometer circle around the focusing area. So we're going to simulate all the people in this big circle, but keep in mind that we mainly care about the effects and performance in the focusing area. And so this is the different types of agents. For the baseline, which means without any kinds of incentive policies, we have 3 kinds of agents. You have seen the land grids, and we also have citizens and developers. All of them are interacting with each other. And as you can see here, the land grids will provide some vacant house, and the citizens are making choices on whether I'm going to move to a new house or just stay at a current house. And if I decide to move, where should I move? So this is so-called home location choices, and this is a very classical ABM problem. And in this decision-making process, the citizens will consider rent, commute distance, and other attributes. And next, please. And now, if we introduce a new type of agent, the government in Kendall Square. The government will suggest some incentive policies for citizens in the form of rent discounts or subsidy to encourage the citizens to move into the focusing area. As a result, the vacant house in Kendall Square now will have discounted rent for different people. And obviously, now the citizens are more likely to move into Kendall Square because of these incentives. And also the developer will return some money to the citizens who qualify for these policies. And next, please. At the same time, the government will approve some additional air rights to developers. So this is another kind of incentive policy, but this is not for citizens, but for developers. And the developer can make use of these air rights to do some new constructions in the hope of making more profits. Next, please. So this is our 3 different kinds of agents. So now it's for the different kinds of incentives. Basically, we will have 3 kinds of incentives for citizens. The first is for low-income people. The second one is for less commuting people, or we say people who can reduce their commute distance by moving to Kendall Square. And the third one is for small-scale houses. And each of them are expected to improve the urban performances from certain aspects, such as low-income people for affordability and diversity, less commuting people for commute distance energy, and small-scale houses for building energy efficiency. And later, when you play with the tool, you are invited to set some static incentive policies by yourself and find out how does it work on these indices. And also, what's more interesting is you can also set the goal or targets of these indices and then let the ABM algorithm to set and adjust these policies automatically and dynamically. And besides, it's worth mentioning that you can see here another kind of incentive policy for developers, which is additional air rights, is depending on the subsidy policies and will also affect the performance. So basically, if the subsidy is too low, the government will not approve a lot of additional air rights. And if the subsidy is too high, the developers will have to return too much money to the residents and thus cannot afford a lot of new constructions. So this is an indication that we should set these incentive policies smarter, not the higher the better. So next. Next, please. Yeah, for the inputs, as I just mentioned, you can set the static incentive policies by yourself, and this would be a static policy simulation. And in contrast, in a dynamic policy simulation, you just need to set the targets or goals for the performance indices, and the incentive policy would be set by the algorithm dynamically. For the outputs, we have 4 important urban performance indices, and all of them are normalized to 0 to 1, and the higher is better. And we also have some more detailed information. And in the following group session, we will have more instructions on this inputs and outputs. And next, please. So yeah, this is a animation of how the simulation system works. And in the following time, you will learn to play with it and find some interesting results from this simulation. And that's all for the big picture of the agent-based simulation. And now I'm going to give my mic back to Ryan and to conclude this introduction.
Thank you, Tan. It's very clear. And also, I want to mention that the tool is in web browser. We have very powerful machine running on the server to make it work. Yeah, so hope you enjoy. So next we will make group sessions, and we will have 5 groups of maybe about 9 or 10 people. And in the group session, we will have a little bit more detail on how to use the tools by the facilitators. And please ask any question that you have, yeah, in a group session. So Maggie,
Great.
please.
We're ready to go. So you guys will get an invitation to join your breakout room. And if you don't, stay here, you're with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one group is in the main session, so don't worry if it doesn't.
Oh, and we'll stop
Give you-
screen share probably too for the main room, or
Oh, yeah, sure.
so we can see how many of us are here. I want to check the main room size. It might be a little bigger because some people joined late.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Me too. I think it should be good.
Yeah, 10 people. With 2 facilitators. 3 actually. Great. Hi everyone. I'm going to share another slides for the introduction of the tools.
Looks good.
Great. Okay, everyone. Very lucky to have you. And as I introduced, I'm Ryan, and I will be the facilitator for this breakout room session. And first of all, I would like to kindly ask you to open your mic and the camera, or maybe camera first, so that the workshop can be more interactive and we can talk, right? I know some of you, end of the day, some of you are very early in the morning, but I think you will be excited when you see the tool. Hey.
Hi, Claudio. Hey, everyone else.
Hey, Claudio.
Do you want to show us how to use it, Ryan, or what should we do next?
Yeah. Everyone else, if you can hear me, please kindly switch on your cameras. Right, thanks, fine. Yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you, Alvaro. Hope I pronounce it right. Okay, so next, agenda. We have a little ice breaking. We have then online interactive tool overview and tutorial. And we also will raise some research questions for you to bring with and think about during the whole process. And we will explore 3 simulation scenarios. It will be interesting because they make a huge difference. And then we will have a group discussion, and also we do some summary and prepare a little bit for the report that we're going to report back to the main session afterwards. So we will prepare 2 minutes of 2 slides, very simple. And yeah, we will have one volunteers, hopefully. And now we have like 5 minutes to do some ice breaking to have everyone talking. So firstly, I will point your names so that we are still in order. And then when I call your name, please tell us something about yourself, including your name, your research interest, and please just use one keyword. It's very challenging, just one word of your research interest, okay? And then we have your favorite animal and favorite color, and then we will combine them to see what will happen, okay? All right, so starting with me maybe. So my name is Ryan. My research interest is dynamic. My favorite animal, cat. Favorite color, transparent. So can you imagine a transparent cat? Yeah, maybe in Alice, you know, the story of Alice. Okay, next, Maggie, can you say something?
My name is Maggie. My research interest is equity. My favorite animal is cat. And my favorite color is blue.
Blue cat, interesting. All right, Chance.
Well, my name is Chance, and my research interest is it's also cat. My favorite color is black.
Oh, black cat. Okay, a lot of cats.
Bad luck.
Yeah. What's the research interest? I didn't hear that. Sorry about that.
Well, as for me,
Yeah. You break out a little bit. What's your research interest again?
Computer vision and human-computer interaction.
That's too many words.
Too many words.
Okay, computer. We abbreviated. All right. Okay, just a kidding. All right. So next we have Claudio.
Hi. Well, my name is Claudio. My research interest is information.
Nice.
My favorite animal is puma. And my favorite color is black.
Black puma. That's very cool.
It's kind of similar to Chance, just a different kind of cat.
Yeah, we have a cat group today. All right. Wang Jing, do you want to say something about yourself, please? Thanks.
Hello. My name is Wang Jing. My favorite color is blue. And I have raised a cat, but I want to have a dog.
Okay. Blue dog. What's your research interest? One word.
Nice city.
Okay, cool. That's 2 words. Oh, we will have nice. All right. So next, let's have.
So it looks like the next person, Cyrilla, was supposed to join a group and didn't. So I think we should skip them.
Okay.
But maybe we can go to Leonard, if Leonard is there. And you want to say hi to us, Leonard, if you're there.
Hey,
and
Leonard.
otherwise, it looks like our admin folks. So I think that's
okay. Yeah. How about Shenjiang, Li Shenjiang? You want to say something? All right. So Next, we will have one volunteer to present our findings and thoughts after this breakout session and to the main session. Is there any volunteers?
I know who I think should do it, but it's not fair. I think Claudio should do it because Claudio, you always do it in the network meeting and you're so good at it.
Yeah.
But I know we make you present a lot. So we haven't met Wang Jin. I haven't met before, so you could also present.
Yeah.
So sorry, can you say it again? Sorry.
I mean, do you want to be the volunteer to present back to the main session at the end?
I want to, but today I'm not prepared very well.
Okay.
It's okay
Claudia.
for me.
Claudia.
Oh, yeah, we have Claudio. Whoa.
Claudia's the
Alright,
presenter, so that's good for us.
Yeah, but everyone should help to prepare and discuss and provide ideas to Claudia. Great. So we have, let me share this very quick. So there's this link that I want to give everyone. I will put it into the chat, if I can find the chat. Okay, so in the chat, you will find a link. On that link, you will see a lot of slides, but grouped into 5 groups. So each group has we are group 1. We are group 1. So look at 3 slides like this. So final presentation slide 1, final presentation slides 2, and we have a bunch of hidden slides that you can use for your draft. Okay. Okay. So let me know if you cannot find it, and I will share screen to guide you. Okay. So tutorials and hands-on. Let's just I want to make sure that you talk to me if you have any question. I would more than happy to answer, and that would be very helpful for us to improve the tool as well. Baseline model with no incentive policies. So we started with the tool, very clear and obvious button. Click the run simulation. Then you will be able to run the simulation. So by default, it was no incentives. So remember I mentioned 3 scenarios. So we have no incentives, like static incentives, like the New York example, and also dynamic incentives, which is hopefully is a better version. We will see. So for this version, we will after you click the run simulation and wait for a while, it should be less than 1 or 2 minutes. You will see that the area is full of the dots, and actually each dots represent a certain number of people with similar housing preferences, and the blue dots are the low-income people, and the high dots, the red dots are the high-income people, and the bigger the size, the more population this dot represents. Okay, and next we have okay, let me send you this tool. Almost forget, in the chat again, and it should be very simple to use. You just click on it, and your browser should be able to bring you to the same screen as what it is on my screen. So, okay, did you see the new link? Let me.
Yep, we got it.
Let me put more.
Thank you.
So that you can see it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. You can use the same link.
Oh yeah, cool.
And we have a very Can everyone see the interface?
Looks good.
Yeah, please
Yeah,
say
yes,
yes.
yes, we can.
Nice. That's a very good sign for today. We are lucky today. Not only lucky. So next we will, okay, so there are several functionalities I want to tell you. So at the bottom of the tool, you can see this simulation step. So we are simulating 12 steps. Each step represents 3 months, a quarter of the year. And which means it's also, which means it's a 3 years simulation because it takes some time to have people moving. Basically, that's and you can use that sliders to change the time. Basically, step 0 means the initial condition, and step 12 means the after 3 years what it will look like. Okay, so next we will have it's a little bit. Okay, here on top of the screen, there's a running clock to simulate the time of the day. It will run like through day and night, and you can see the animation of people moving between their workplace and home, living place. So you can use the triangle button to post the animation to observe where do they live or work more closely. So next we have simulation results will be on the right. The radar chart will show the urban performances. There will be 4 metrics and the 2 categories. So I mentioned in the introduction that we are focusing on social performance and environmental performance as well. But since this is like a minimum viable demonstration, so we simplify it as just 4 aspects. So for under social performance, we have affordability, and we have the housing, we have the affordability of the housing, which means to what extent the housing in Kendall Square is affordable to low-income people. And we also have diversity, which means how mixed is the low-income and high-income in Kendall area. So the number is calculated according to people live or work in Kendall, but not a larger area. So the other, under environmental performance, we have the mobility energy and the building energy efficiency, which the less energy they will use during the year, the higher performance you will get. Okay, so next we will have detailed information. If you put your mouse on top of that, it will unfold. After it unfolds, you will see the developer finance, population, diversity, commuting distance, and residence energy consumption, which is basically like correspondent to the aggregated performance above in the radar chart. And the developer finance is a little bit different. So when we mentioned that we want to harness the market force. So we take the developers' finance into account because they need to still be profitable to be willing to build anything, right? So, and we will take because we will take part of the profit as the incentive budgets to incentivize all these policies. So the finance of them need to work. But we will look at this more closely later. The next we will have you to play with the tool, and keep in mind that you want to improve both the equality and the sustainability while you play with it. Okay, so let's play with this baseline simulation, no incentive simulation, and keep in mind that to look at what problem do you think this baseline situation they have, how is the performance, and did you see anything interest you? And I suggest everyone open the mic. So while you play with it, you can let me know if you want to share your screen to mention something. And you can also, yeah, ask your questions, please. Thanks.
So we're looking at it with no incentives, right? That's the baseline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And soon we will look at the other two scenarios, the static and dynamic incentives. So, and you will have about 4 minutes to play with it.
Okay.
So it should be quite straightforward, and you can run multiple times and to see if there's much change. And there will be some randomness in the simulation for sure, but yeah, let me know if it's within your expectation or not. If not, what did you see unexpected, please?
Yeah, it looks like lots of people live here, right? But in the middle of the day, no one's here, so no one's working here.
Yeah. Yeah. I can also share my screen of one of the simulation to play with a little bit as well. Let me restart.
It does look like people of both high income and low income live here, although like there are definitely certain blocks that are all high income, or like there's one space that's all high income and one that's all low income. So
Do you want to share your screen to show some insights? Maybe I will stop sharing. Maggie.
So this
Yeah, you can also, just a hint that you can also look at the detailed information, pretty rich. And you can see the evolution of the time as well. So just keep in mind that the animation in the middle is only showing this step. So it's not evolving through years or months. It's just the day.
Right. That was one of the questions I had. That I understand each step is a 3-month period, right? You told
yes.
us that.
Yes.
So, what is the difference between watching the step 1 or step 12 in the case of non-incentives?
Not too much. That's a good question.
Yeah.
So later you will see more. When we basically when we don't have the incentives, there's not much change. That's quite true. So we assume that it's already quite a equilibrium without a big change. So I think we are more or less 4 minutes. So next, let's let me share my screen, and let's play with the next scenario, which is more exciting. Sorry that the first one bothered you.
No, it doesn't bother me. I was just asking because I didn't even watch the urban performance indicators or the detailed information.
It's a quiz. You passed the quiz.
Just playing
you did the right observation.
with the step.
You did the right observation. Great. No. Okay, let's go to scenario 2, which is the static incentive policy, which will be more exciting. Actually, this to me, it's more exciting than dynamic. You will see why. I will tell you why at the end. That's a little thing a mystery I put here. Okay, so for this, we will need to change the mode from no incentive to static incentive. Very straightforward. And we will so after you change that, you will have 3 sliders under this static incentive strength, which literally means how strong the incentive do you want for these 3 incentive policies. And like Tan said, the 2 is for the individuals and 1 for the developers. So yeah, so it's very straightforward. So when you make it from 0 to 1, you are increasing the policy strength. So it will subsidize more for example, for the less commuting subsidy, when people move into Kendall, where they work as well, they reduce the commuting distance, right? So the policy will reduce their rentals, and the reduction, the budget is from the profit of the developer.
Mm-hmm.
And you can now see that if you increase that a lot, but doesn't give the developer enough incentive, they might don't want to build, right? Mm-hmm. And so that even you want it a lot, but you don't have enough budget to do so. So here it's strength. It's without without the unit, but internally it will calculate proportionally to this. Yeah, to this
population.
Calculations. And for example, if you increase low income, and you probably will see an increase on affordability. And but actually, you will also see the increase of diversity somehow, because you make the balance a little bit better, the mixture a little bit better. So keep in mind that when you change 1, you might have a multiple output, okay? You might impact multiple ones. That's the fun part, actually, to use your brain to figure out the logic behind.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, that's okay. Next, you have 10 minutes, much longer, to play with that mode. Please let me know if it doesn't, when you go switch to that mode, it doesn't,
okay.
it doesn't change, encounter any problems. And some questions to think about. That is, the incentives works as you expected? Does every time when you do stronger incentives, you will have stronger results? And also, yeah, please take notes and screenshots of your findings in the draft slides we provided before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have one question about the goal.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is to reduce each indicator.
No, actually, we remap each indicator to be the bigger the better. Okay, so it's performance means the bigger the better. So for example, for building energy, compared to the baseline, that's why we have a baseline. Sorry, I didn't made it clear. So if you reduce, so the energy efficiency actually is a correspondent to how much reduction you did compared to baseline. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So affordability and diversity is straightforward. That's all like the same direction. And but the energy efficiency and the commute, like building energy efficiency, actually is based on the reduction of energy consumption.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question about the urban performance indicator. They're calculated once you hit the run simulation button, right?
Yes.
So the visualization change according to the time of the day, but the urban performance
It's the
metrics
last
stay
step.
the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the last step. Yeah.
So if I am in simulation step 1, uh, is like pretty close to non-incentive scenario, right?
Yes, it should be almost the same as the baseline. 1 or 0. 0 will be the same, and the 1 will be quite close. Not necessary. 3 months can happen a lot. Uh, maybe a more clearer view is the. Can you guys see my screen? On the right side, you see each step of a historical chart that you can see. For example, the decrease in commute distance. So, which is used to calculate the commute energy efficiency. So you see, actually it's quite funny. It's go down and up. So when it's up, it means it's taking positive effect, like the score will be go higher. And when it's negative, because it's decrease, the unit, sorry, we didn't put it down, is the kilometer, like, yeah, but it's normalized somehow. Anyway, so you can see that it goes down and it goes up. That's funny because let me think about it. I think that's, let me see if there's any clue.
So
Yeah, actually, I never seen that before.
if it is decrease in commute, if the indicators go down, it means that the commute distance is getting higher, right?
Oh, actually, I know why. Yeah, see my left side. We have a static incentive strength. I didn't put any. It's all 0. That's why we have just a very tiny, like a fluctuation. That's why also the number is so small. So
So
that's a very
small, right?
tiny fluctuation, like the baseline. So if I change it, if I just change the less commuting to 1, so we give a lot of incentives to this, and let's give some incentive for the developer as well, so that they are willing to build. Okay, so let's see. Uh, I I believe it will have a quite positive impact on the decrease of commuting distance, and the number here will be much larger. The small number is just a fluctuation of. Yeah, let's wait for that. Yeah, okay, see? So on average, everyone level working candle reduce the commute by 0.4. I'm not sure if it's mile or kilometer, maybe miles. Yeah, 0.4 miles. That's a much bigger number than previously without any incentive. So yeah, that's my example. Okay, we have 3.5 more minutes to play with it. Yeah. Also, you can use you can see the last time the performance of last time with the non-filled blue lines, and it did increase a lot compared to last time. The commute energy efficiency. Very interesting. Yeah, I think it's a good approach if you try some aspect separately, and in the end you try to maximize everything, like all 4 aspects. How about this? Let's do a contest. Let's do a competition. Who will get the biggest number for all the scores? Shall we? Yeah. Before, actually, I will allow a little bit more time. Let's have 3 more minutes. And everyone will do a screenshot of your best try of the biggest big order. So any like basically one it's maximized, you have the biggest area on radar charts.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see who has the biggest diamond. I will try somebody well. I'm not very good at it, by the way.
That's hard, right?
Yeah, it's hard.
I'm good at.
Okay, I put the mist. That's it. It's actually very intellectual, challenging to have the biggest one without the help of the computer and
Yeah.
without the. Actually, it's unfair because you don't have all the data. You didn't look through all the data as well. So
you still can guess, like you kind of have an idea.
Actually, that's the point. So not a human being can look through all the data and figure out the best combination, but the computer can, right? So it's not only dynamic, but also optimized. That's one of the points as well.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Wow. That is I think the most amazing thing is the time. So I really need to know what is the biggest difference between the two very maybe 12 a.m. and 6 p.m. The biggest difference between these 2 time frames is the detailed information of the something different.
Yes. I think the detailed information is generated by the difference between step 0 and step 12 instead of the 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. Yeah, because that's just the visually tell the 7 a.m. or p.m. the daytime is only tell us where do they live or work, but the calculation like actually the matrix is calculated by the improvements compared to the baseline. So that's why we compare the last step with the first initiated step. Hope this answers your question.
Sorry, I can't understand. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, I can speak Chinese. 就是第一步和最后一步的差是决定了这个指标，最后的指标。对，就是有多大的改进。OK。
改进。
Yes. Okay. So I think we are running out of the time. So hope you all have a very good one. If I have a second try, which is worse than the first try. That's really funny. Okay, so let's go to the third scenario, which is you can still see my screen, right? Dynamic incentive policy. And that's the future, believe me. Change to dynamic incentive policy, like I change it to static as well. And under this mode, you will see instead of the 3 strands of the incentive policy, this time you will control your goals of the urban performances. That's very cool. So the computer will do it for you. It will optimize the incentive policies, how strong it should be every step, okay, to best match your goal. Of course, you can try a goal that's everything the biggest, but it might not reach that because there's an inherited trade-offs between different performances. So in order to, so basically behind the hood, it will firstly calculate the gap between your goal and your the current condition for each step, and then we'll put weight the incentive policy accordingly. Okay. Besides that, a very smart thing it does is remember that the incentive policy will apply to a grid or a land parcel, but before the static incentive policy, it will it will randomly select 6 of them and apply the policy. But in the urban, the dynamic incentive policy, it will select the most efficient 6 instead. Okay, so which it will, for example, it will estimate each grid and to see if I apply incentive policy on it, how much impact I will have, and it runs through all of them, and then give and pick 6 most efficient one and apply to them. That's also how it's optimized the performance. Yeah. Okay. So now you have another 10 minutes to try on the Maggie, remind me how much time do we have?
Yeah, so I think we're running out of time, Ryan, because I have that at, we can tweak this a little, but I have that at 9:15. We close the breakout rooms. So we only have 4 minutes.
Yeah, let's have 5 minutes to play with it. And
but it'll
to be honest,
much
this one is simpler than last one.
Maybe just a few minutes to play and then a few minutes to do the presentation, right?
Yeah, yeah. Can you message them to like a delay for like 5 minutes maybe?
Okay. So we have 10 minutes to do this simulation and the presentation.
Yeah.
I'll message everybody.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm very bad at timekeeping.
No, it's fun to play. This is what happens. It's like
yeah, please play with the dynamic one within this 3-4 minutes. And it's really straightforward because while I play with it, what the goal you set up, basically it will quite efficiently do it for you.
Let me try.
By the way, in each step, you can change the slider, and in each step, it will highlight the the puzzles it's used, the most efficient puzzles, and also it will show you on that step what's the incentive policy.
Oh yeah.
And also in the detailed information, there's a one incentive policy chart, which shows you the evolution, the history of how much is, what's the strength of each incentive policies through time.
Wow, I did way better the first time than with the static incentives. But
This
I'm
is
kind of increasing my sliders a lot, but not all the way. I'm trying to get a lot performance out of it, but just not total performance, you know?
it's great, like this kind of interaction with the model.
Yeah.
We have in our research group one one of the research assistants that uh, do for his thesis work a reinforcement learning model to regulate street lanes, and we tried to do some web page similar to this one, but we just were able to set the optimization goals and view in the graph which lanes were blocked or not. But this is so like complete, and it lets you do an analysis so deep that
You know that it's completed within 3 months by the CityScienceLab Shanghai. That's
it's
amazing. And with our team member in MIT as well. But
I,
really short time.
I can't imagine the amount of work behind this, really.
Yeah, 3 weeks. It's great. They didn't sleep much. I really want to give a big applause to them. Okay, yeah. Okay, I think that's it. And just you probably already realize that even you put all the uh, goals to one, you might still not achieve
Yeah.
it. Right? That's really interesting. And because they have a check and balance, I think. Yeah, for example, if you have too much affordability, like you have more low income than high income, the diversity will be lower. Okay, so let's come back. So we have just 4 or 5 more minutes to discuss and prepare for the presentations back into the main session. Mm, Claudio, do you have any interesting finding or any screenshot you want to share with us?
Um,
Maybe you can
uh,
point me to the slides.
okay, I have in this slide 6, I put three screenshots. Mm,
Oh, great. Yeah. Can you see
when,
that?
when, yes.
Let me present it.
Oh yeah, I see it. Looks good. Yeah.
The
Oh,
first
it's
the first two screenshots, I took them just
also,
for like sort of comparison about the hour of the day and the simulation step. So I try to check for a significant difference between the two scenarios, considering a static incentive, right? Uh, uh, I wasn't able to track any significant difference, but the urban performance indicators were better than baseline, right?
oh, yeah.
So it may have done something right. And the third is the third screenshot, which is the one that is at the bottom, was my best result, trying to change.
Nice.
Yeah, so my approach was trying to optimize each incentive one by one, and after that I tried to tweak them like I think they would give us a great result. But using dynamic incentive, I set my goal to like improve a little bit on my best result, and it just like done it really quickly. But then when I try to um, get the sliders to the top in affordability and all the other urban indicators, yeah, the simulation couldn't go to the top, but like easily catch up my previous best result, like, and improve it, right? So that's the beauty of the computers.
Yeah. Maggie, do you want to put your best try as well? And I might have mine as well.
Which slide should I put it in?
6, and then maybe on the right. And you can write your name there, your name. I will put Maggie there. Okay. Slide 6. I have a, yeah, Wang Jing, if you can do the same, that would be fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't use the zoom option.
What does that? What
the
is
zoom
that?
to make the zoom to the grid. I didn't.
Oh.
What else should we write? I think we should close the rooms, Ryan.
Oh, yeah. Just Claudia, because we need to present. Think about these two more questions, and maybe you can answer the question in the presentation as well. According to your, are you from Mexico? According to your,
Peru.
Peru, yeah. According to your experience, what do you see this can be used in your country during the process of the urban decision making? And if you have any suggestions to improve the user experience or the and what do you want to add? For example, what function, what urban performance do you want to add? You can put all this as in your presentation. I think it will be fantastic. Okay, so let's go back to the main session. Thank you so much, everyone.
Ryan,
Claudia, Wang Jing. Yeah, it's a great experience, really.
Okay, I'm gonna bring everyone back. They're gonna get mad. Everyone always wants to stay and talk.
It was fun.
So I don't know for now if you want to stop your screen share, Ryan, so you can see people come back, or if you want to. So they have 40 seconds and then they'll come back with us.
Nice. Maggie is our Zoom master. Like there's no request that she cannot do within Zoom.
A lot.
It's really impressive. I cannot do any of them.
I use this a lot, this tool.
Yeah,
no one's leaving. That means that they're still working. They're going to get kicked out.
They can keep discussing in the main session.
They're going to get kicked out. Here they come.
All right.
Hi guys, we kicked you out, so welcome back to the main room. I saw that folks didn't want to leave your breakouts, which probably means you're in the middle of working on stuff, but we brought us back together, so hopefully we can hear from you and learn what you guys were discussing.
Yeah, welcome back, and I hope you had fun.
All right, what should we do? Should we do a backwards order, forwards order of presentation?
Let's do forwards then.
Okay. Do you want to share screen, Ryan? My computer's a little slow with.
Yes, I will. No problem.
All right, so breakout group 1 was Ryan and Chance, and Claudio was there. I was there, Wang Jin was there, and then Fernanda joined us about halfway through.
Yeah, I know the time is really short, so you probably haven't finished your slides, but it's okay. Let's just talk through it.
Yeah. So I volunteered to present for my group. Well, I'm gonna make a quick review, and then you can add up if I'm missing something. Well, we review the scenarios. The dynamic incentive easily like catch up and improve all of my previous attempts to improve the urban performance metrics. That was great. Um, One of the main difficulties I think these kind of systems could have with getting into the real world is that the flexibility regarding long or medium term policies, because normally this kind of process is long. So if you analyze the city today and make the decision 3 months later or 6 months later, maybe it's not the best decision in that time. um, what other things I would add up or improve? The first things that come to my mind is to include more income categories and some other demographics to visualize or get more detail on what is diversity, and maybe also to make this platform a little bit easier to use to some non-experts, some kind of dummy one indicator to rule all, that we're gonna lose a lot of accuracy with this indicator, but it can be like a way of entering or a way of understanding what's behind this indicator.
Yeah, that's a great comment. And just wonder if I will ask this question for each group. So in your country that you come from, do you think it is like how will it be beneficial to use this by the urban decision makers, and is it possible to do so, and in what kind of process?
Uh, well, in my country, I think it's really important to start analyzing the problem of housing. In the capital is like almost a lost battle, but there are some analyses regarding the population growth and how you would incentive new population to stay in their home districts with a new type of housing, more modern type of housing. Because what is happening here in Lima is that people the city grow, people that grow in the outskirts, when they grow up and start working, move to the center districts, and it make the city like pretty densely concentrated in the center, and like it doesn't feel like their city anymore. It's like it's crowded, you don't know anyone, but in the outskirts people know each other, they help each other, they put like some money in communities to build parks and to really build a community, right? So this kind of models or platforms could help policymakers to visualize this natural community process happening, and see them how their decisions can impact on improving this and stopping the city to grow like, or to be
Out of
densely concentrated and make critical points or danger zones for earthquakes and other kind of disasters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. I think that's really great, and I had a great time with the group 1. Thanks.
So,
okay, next group 2.
2 is Alberto, Ding, Jyoti, Luis, Xingchuan, and Leon.
And I think
great. Yeah. I would like to invite Luis to present group 2's findings. Welcome, Luis.
Yeah, this is not exhaustive, but this is what I fit in the page. Some of the things that we discussed was with respect to static policies, shifting how aggressive you were on the policy. The more aggressive that you were on any one policy, it started affecting not just the factor that policy was intended, but it started bleeding into the additional factors. And in some cases, it was adversely. So it's maybe a policy that you didn't think would affect something else, but ended up actually costing on another factor. In terms of shifting static to dynamic targets, we noticed that if we just have moderate dynamic targets for all of the factors, the algorithm actually yielded for each factor, it either met or exceeded the targets, which was an interesting finding too. It's not like it's just gonna stay at the target and then that's it. So if there's room for better outcomes, like it will lead to better outcomes. Another finding was that we're exploring how different targets would impact developer financing, and aggressive commuting time targets, but then kind of being more moderate and more balanced on some of the housing policy led to favorable developer financing. And a last insight that I'll share is small adjustments to low income policy interventions yielded really big diversity gains in very quick turns. So maybe it's you can overshoot the intervention without getting much more for it, was the insight there.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I think your group really have a quite deep insight of you played a lot. I can see. That's great. Oh, and next slides.
Oh yeah, I think the order got a little messed up, but could you go to the next one?
Oh, yeah. Wait. Oh, I think you mean the wow.
The order. Yeah, it just got a little. The order got switched.
This one?
No, the one above 14.
Okay.
We also discussed just around how we could make this better, or how we could make this smarter as like an algorithm. And the two big things that we discussed was, the first is imagining different users of this thing. You could tailor kind of the outcome or the demonstration, the visualization of it, depending on what user you are. So if you're a resident, a business owner, or a policymaker, the way that you might interpret affordability or the way that you might interpret energy savings could be different, and it could be more connected to that particular decision maker or user's needs. And tied to that idea in the visualization, also in terms of like, what is the next level of detail that you measure? So for example, for the energy efficient metric, a high qualitative level is helpful to give you the general movement, but then for somebody else, it might be really useful to see, well, what is the efficiency coming from shift in electric vehicles versus combustion engine vehicles, or other technologies that could be helping the energy efficiency.
Right. Yeah, for sure. That's great points. Is that the next slide?
Yeah, we had a lot of the screenshots. Our team populated screenshots of the points that I summarized in the insight, but I don't know if anybody else wants to jump in.
Yeah, so where are you from? How do you see it can be used in your country? Luis.
Oh, me. Sorry. I am from the US. I'm in the US. And I think to me, my background is I studied engineering, but just graduated from business school, worked in consulting for a bit. And now I'm interested in this urban kind of economics and city science, right? For how we can use technology to better make decisions that build cities in a smarter way. And I think to me, like the biggest thing that it does is there's a lot of different types of groups that do make decisions that ultimately flow into the cities. But it's more rare to see how tweaking something that might live in like a housing department of the government might actually go through and influence private sector developers, right? It's almost like everyone kind of analyzes their own thing from their own individual factors that they care about, but they don't notice that my factor actually goes back and influences somebody else. And so it seemed very isolated. So the power for me for this tool is actually to bring people that might not necessarily factor in other people's metrics, but to start to understand how interrelated my decisions will affect your outcomes.
Fantastic. Thank you for the
Here
presentation.
I would just like to add to your first question. I'm Jyoti from India. Yeah, hi. So back to your question about the different policies and about India, what I can say is that we have been having these the sort of a combination of low income, middle income, and high income groups. So most of the cities where the planning is there, so the policy plannings and urban planners, they included these three categories, but these has been a sort of a very static policy which has been going on. The things which actually it missed and which is more relevant now is that the large section of young population who may not come under these three categories, but their affordability, which is not being taken care of. So most of these people have been sort of moved out of the city. And the second thing, which is also very important, which was not really thought of about in any cities, is that these, I would say, these informal settlements where you can say these slums and other things which are just mushroomed all over the city. There was no planning for that as well. So that's why I think most of the policies have been sort of unsuccessful of late. And we have started thinking about how to approach these other problems. And also, so commuting, I mean, most of the cities as of now in India are actually have a very sort of the density, and in terms of most of the needs and the commutes are increasing, but it's not so much in the smaller cities where your work and home are pretty close. So that's also a thing which we need to sort of see more, because we are now the new trend is that we are just segregating these different activities. So yeah, since you asked about the different countries, so I thought maybe I can just add to this. Yeah,
I think it's really important to localize this tool and to use the local data and to try to quantify the information we can gather and then use it to try to optimize and improve the decision making. And hopefully we have a chance to collaborate and work on some of these urgent issues. Thank you very much. All right, next.
Hey, so guys, we're over time, but we're lucky because we don't have a workshop after us. So stick with us if you can, and we'll try to get through the next few. Breakout room 3, Chen Liang.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, can you?
Peter, Sarah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, can I just refresh the page, because I just add some new content here and not showing yet, sorry.
No problem. Refresh the page.
I think it comes.
Already?
Yeah, I think so.
Which page? Page 20?
Group 3.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So basically, like we found first that like when we first tried the static optimization process, we found that there are some kind of the trade-off among those three parameters. Like generally, like optimizing one parameter usually makes others become worse. So like if you go to the next page, you see that yeah. If we want to like if you want like the, for example, like the commuting time to be the less, but like at this moment we realize it, but the other parameters might be get worse. And if we try the other one, maybe try the small scale housing. If you go to the next page, yeah, we can realize it easily, but like other parameters at the same time they get worse. So then we're then gonna try the dynamic process. So if you go to the next page, yeah, generally we find that in the dynamic optimization process, like for each step, like there is a general order of these three parameters. So we found that like for each step, usually the first comes is the small scale housing, this parameter, and then it comes the less commuting time, and finally it comes the affordability parameter. And if you go to the next page, yeah, we find that in like each step, like the algorithm first finds some optimized spots for people to come, and yes, go to the next page, and maybe you can quickly go through like the following pages, like yeah. So basically, like during this, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's
Previous one.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's basically what we found about with some sorry, some interesting part about this. Yeah, and for the future potentials, I think maybe we could add some more parameters like thermal simulations or like day-night parameters like ventilation or FAR to this process. And the very good point for this platform is that we think it's very good for civic engagement, since like the policies about like urban sometimes are really hard for people to understand, even for people like professional designers or planners. And I think this platform is like very potential to put it into to use for in our countries. And maybe it's possible to make it even more easier for us to understand. Yeah, thank you.
Right. Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. That's really good insight. And keep using it. It will still be online for the future. And yeah, keep in touch. Let us know if you have new thoughts and if there's any research collaboration we can form. Okay, let's go to group 4.
So 4 is Shauna, Aladen, Eduardo, Juan, Maria, and Yongkam.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so inside of group, I think we discuss more about the limits this simulation has. Not about the findings, sorry. But one of the first things we discussed was it would be very interesting if you could introduce the transport dynamics into the simulation, thinking about whether some streets change and just allow bikes for rides, or maybe if it's just for pedestrians. I think that would be very interesting to introduce into the simulation. Another thing we talked about was maybe this simulation doesn't take into account the different realities we could find in different countries, especially in countries like mine, where you tend to share different kind of neighborhoods, especially low income neighborhoods and high income neighborhoods. And
I think we're losing her, right, guys? Looks like an internet issue.
Yeah, from her side. Yeah.
Let's give her one more second and see if she can come back. And otherwise, breakout room 4, think if you can come back to us. Does someone else want to speak out for group 4? Eduardo, Juan, Yongkang, Aladen.
Shona, you want to talk about
yeah, sure.
Shona?
Okay. Yeah, so we mentioned especially different realities in different countries will sometimes make certain policies maybe less applicable, or maybe some, for example, in some places where the public space is already either is like already very crowded or very occupied, certain developments will often take away the public spaces or may change one use to another, which will maybe for certain group of people will hurt their values, or make the streets or the parks or the public spaces less accessible to them. So yeah, so maybe consider public utilities and services for different groups of people will also be an important thing in the future. And especially other social components, for example, currently the aspects or the indicators in the simulations rather comprehensive and rather abstract. And we have discussed maybe we need more detailed information or detailed indicators, the next level of detail for it to be actually used by policymakers.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, more detailed. Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Maria.
I'm so sorry.
No problem. No problem.
I had an internet problem.
No problem. We're glad we got to hear from you guys.
No worries. Yeah.
And glad it's documented in the slides too. So, okay, let's jump to 5. 5 is Jose, Daniela, Kevin, Sophia, and Xiao. Last group. So let us know what you got.
Hi. So I'm gonna talk a bit about what we found. Can we just switch to the slides after? Yeah, that's fine. So when I was doing the dynamic thing, I realized that there's a really sudden stop of policies. So from step 1, it was, there's different strengths for the 3 incentives, and already at step 3 is, there's a sudden stop. So that was really interesting to see how policies are seen as a discrete thing and not like a continuous thing in this model. And also how in the next slide, can we go to, yes. This one is when I put all the goals in the middle. It also has the same problem, like at step 3, like all the policies just stopped. So it was interesting to see that like maybe after 9 months, according to the model, things would already be achieved, everything would be achieved, and we wouldn't need policies anymore. So it's really looking at what is feasible and what other factors would be needed to better understand and better calibrate the length of policies. So that's something that that was on my mind when I was doing the simulation. And the next slide. And on this one is to see how some results, sorry, it's the slide 46. No, just the slide before that.
Okay, yeah.
46. Yeah, it's really interesting to see how having an incentive that promotes less commuting would end up have a stronger diversity performance than commute energy efficiency. So if you look at the urban performance,
Right.
you see that it's like it actually has a better results in affordability and diversity than in commute, but like we have a really, really strong commute incentive. So I think I wonder how do we assess like how accurate the model would be. So can we go to the next slide? So one of the thing about like future potential was trying to understand also how do we assess the confidence level of the results that we obtain with the model, and how, let's say, we factor in unpredictability. For example, if we have COVID, how would that affect the decision model? And also just trying to understand the context a little bit more, because I guess Kendall Square is kind of a special place, I guess. So to see how transferable is this model to other models, and when we change context, what are the other factors we have to take into consideration? And also the scales are very abstract. At the beginning, we have like we had a little bit of trouble understanding like, so what does it mean like to have 0.8 affordability or 0.5 diversity? Like, what is the meaning of the data, generally speaking?
That's very, very true. Yeah, we did a lot of normalization, so it should be explained better in the future. Yeah, I have great point.
Yeah, and also I find it really interesting to see how like you chose like a square to do the model, because I guess like some places is how like the urban design is different, because I heard someone talking about like informal settlements, like you don't actually have streets, so like houses are not necessarily like, you know, you can't always know exactly how many people are living at a certain house, and you know, and also there's no agricultural land, for example, because you were talking about where we come from. So like I come from Canada, but I also live in Switzerland, and like I was interested in this session because you were like, oh, equity without zoning, but Switzerland is basically all about zoning, you know, like agriculture sometimes is just like beside like residential use, and like sometimes it's hard to have like a very uniform square of like only residential use. You can have like residential and like agricultural just side by side, and like I think it's really hard to apply the model if like the zoning categories are different in the same square or in the same space. Yeah.
Yeah, we have cityscope models with a mixture of using and even dynamic of using. So that could be the direction of future development of the tool as well, which in this case, we only have like a minimum demo version. So very good point. And thank you very much for all these suggestions and insights. That's very, very appreciated. Okay. So we have all of them.
Thank you definitely to Ryan. Ryan's here from MIT City Science, and to the CityScienceLab in Shanghai, which is at Tongji University. They pulled together, like they wanted to have a tool that we could play with, and they pulled this together in an incredible amount of time. So thanks to you guys for sure. It was a great job, very interesting presentation.
Thank you, Maggie.
If you're doing the summit, the summit's all for tomorrow. So come to workshops, hang out with us. There's lots of interesting stuff happening. We start tomorrow morning with Taipei Tech. They're building lightweight autonomous robots, and we're going to play with robot manufacturing and what we would use them for, some of the systems they've developed. We go into data-driven healthcare with the country of Andorra. They have an incredible health data set that they've collected from the COVID-19 pandemic. They'll share it with us. We'll also look at privacy in relation to data. Yeah, and we go all day into tomorrow evening. I see Eduardo Santana here. He's one of the leaders in Mexico at the museum there, and he'll be in a workshop in the evening, which is called Campuses Without Walls, about exploring sort of space in a more free and usable way and creating more access to universities for people. So that's all for me. Any last thoughts, Ryan or Leon?
Thank you everyone for participating. I wonder if everyone want to like a big picture together.
Sure. Yeah, so maybe if you're cool, keep your camera on, and then if you don't want to. Ryan, you're gonna do it?
Yeah, I can do it. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And the second screen, we have a lot of people. Okay, great.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank
Okay.
you, Randy.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keep your
See you
time.
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.